comes a time in every man's life, in every serious man's life, that his opponent will lock eyes with him and say those two words: debate me. So naturally today I'm going through all the Half-Life 2 characters and seeing which ones I could beat in a debate. So what counts as a character? Well, for me it's anything that can talk, whether we hear it or if it can speak in lore. So first up we've got the Combine Advisor, which I'm immediately just going to put on impossible. How are you going to debate something, right, that's already inside your head? They're extremely intelligent. Just hell no, never. So I'm putting this in impossible because what's the point? Next up we have Zombie Torso. Now you already know what I think about this guy. He's half a man, right? But interestingly, the zombies do speak. It's not often you win a debate so well that your opponent starts begging for God's help. And being a believer in God, I now know one of his axioms, so I could easily make an appeal to religion. I just don't think his head's in the right place for a debate, or at least his legs. So he is going in, guaranteed win. The Human Citizens from Half-Life 2. So I got two major points for this one. First, we've got the Flynn effect and the effects of education and good nutrition upon IQ, and inversely, the effects of malnutrition and going to Combine School, aka the mines. The citizens yearn for the mines. But also, if these are supposed to just be your standard person, there might be one or two very smart people in there, but generally they'll be, you know, kind of average anyway. I'm going to put this in easy because God damn it, there are some smart people in there, like the people that built the airboat, the people that built the jalopnik, or jalopy, and you know, the people that can run those big operations like the railroad. Much love to the citizens, but it would be easy. So the person who made this thing has put everything on here. It's scary, so I can't do them all, and obviously a lot of them aren't relevant to us. But in the case of things like this one Combine Suppressor, I'm just going to take them all as one singular thing. I don't know that there are significant differences in intelligence here. So in Alex, they have a lot more humanity than in Half-Life 2, it seems. I don't know if that's because it's a prequel, and therefore the Combine had not done their thing quite so much, or if it was just because, you know, it's a more modern game, so they wanted to give them a bit of character. But if we assume them to be more human, that doesn't necessarily mean more intelligent, but considering the Combine are just basically, in their final form, a GTX 5090 strapped onto a meat sack, they will at least have their rhetorical skills intact and their belief systems, and so I think they could put up a decent fight. So I'm going to put them in tough. So it's quite evenly spread out now, which is cool. But next up we have the Zombine, which is sort of like a Combine zombie. Unlike the virgin standard zombie, the Chad Zombine actually gives useful orders to its team, instead of just being like, oh, help me, I've died a horrific death. Also, I wonder if they can understand and like hear the rest of their team's orders. I don't know how that whole thing works. I imagine they kick him from the group chat when they find out that the guy's been... They can use weapons and tools, which a standard zombie cannot do. And they're actually smart enough to take themselves out, which shows there is at least some intelligence there. I will, however, be putting the corpse in guaranteed win, because... Why am I making this video? Right, next up, standard zombie. You know the drill. He stands heads and shoulders above this loser right here, but it's not enough. Next up, poetically, we have Father Gregory. This guy is evidently very clever. He's memorized all the lyrics to the Bible.
Lyrics to the Bible. And
throughout the chapter, you can see him freestyling. He's also put together a load of traps, which, you know, I couldn't do. He's a bit crazy, and a lot of a debate is not just about whether you can actually win, it's about does it look like it, and will they concede. This guy will never concede, and for that reason alone, I'm putting it in impossible. Next we have Dr. Breen, ex-administrator of Black Mesa, for some reason the supreme leader of Earth, but not really. Clearly he's a reasonably intelligent guy. He was the head of a fantastically powerful and cool facility before it was blown up by a nuclear bomb. However, like a lot of debate bros, this guy does have podcast. The Breencast, though sometimes it might sound compelling, is chock full of logical fallacies, let me tell you. Not only that, but when he's talking to you, Gordon, directly, you can really see how much of the stuff he says just isn't true. You know what, I think it would be a bit tough. I think I could pull it off. What do you think? Do you think you could out-debate Dr. Breen? Next up we have the Consul, which is Dr. Breen if he was, you know, the guy he thinks he is in his head. We don't know that much about the Consul, but he seems to have more aura and a general air of intelligence about him. A bit more sophistication. This guy buys an Apple Mac, wears a turtleneck, and he thinks that's all you gotta do. Intelligence and indeed debate skill cannot be bought. The Consul goes hard. Literally, the Consul goes hard. I think he looks sick. Wow, this phrase itself. This guy's clearly quite young, quite inexperienced, friendly. I like him a lot. He offered to buy me a beer, so he must be reasonably smart, as that is proven to be the #1 way to make a friend. Barney is, however, a security guard. He isn't a scientist, so I can't necessarily say there's anything that would be too difficult about it. I'm gonna go with easy. Next up, Half-Life 2 Metro Cop. The Half-Life 2 Metro Cop is kind of like Half-Life 1 Barney. They're there to supervise things, they're there to, apply force. A lot of these people are not really supposed to be there. They need to feed their families, they need to survive. They're not necessarily even cut out for the job. I don't think the Combine really cares, as long as they can get you into the Overwatch program eventually. And in the meantime, you do what they ask. I'm going to put Metro Cop in tough, however, because there is always a chance that you'll get hit by the stick. That looks like it hurts. So I wouldn't go into it too confident, and the voice changer as well is all a bit intimidating. Too scary for me. Next up we have Cheeple, who is famous for being a low detail version of a citizen. I don't really know what to say about this one. You'd assume it'd just be like a citizen, right? But his empty black eyes tell me that he might have sold his soul to the devil. And if you've ever watched The Simpsons, selling your soul is a terrible idea. Therefore, it's going in guaranteed win. Okay, next we have Half-Life 1 scientists. I mean, being real, these guys are clearly very intelligent. Probably like IQ of 140 or something. And they're all quite old and probably don't feel very confident about the situation. And they are always finding themselves in a lot of stupid situations. But when it comes to debate, I think they do quite well. However, most of scientists' intelligence is where they choose to concentrate their efforts. So if I just chose a topic that they know nothing about, for example, the CSGO market, I think I might be able to beat them on one or two little debates, but it would not be easy. That's going in hard. Next we have Dr. Kleiner. You could assume that he is just going to be one of the smartest of all the scientists. It wouldn't be impossible for the same reasons as the scientists, but it would not be easy, so that's going in hard. Combine Overwatch Soldier. Most of the faculties I would think they'd need to debate would be gone. So from that perspective, it would be quite easy. I'll put them in easy. Nova Prospect Guard, really dumb. Most of them are already dead by the time you arrive. We don't care. Nova Prospect Soldier, that's a guaranteed win. Overwatch Shotgunner. Ooh, I'm saying that's impossible because you would not have a fucking second to even make an opening statement. That is going in impossible. Hazmat Scientist. These guys are stupid as hell. They might be scientists, but that's not saving them here. Oh, help me. Oh, zombie's gonna kill me. Bro, take off your suit for a start. I can't even hear you. Now that's going in guaranteed win. Next, we have the Combine Hopper Mine. You might think, Lenify TV, the Combine Hopper Mine does not speak. Well, you'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong if you said that. You see, when you walk up to them, they are known to say, bidip. And I imagine a debate with one of these would be like, roller mines are much better than hopper mines because, well, they can move around, they can disable vehicles, and they can... sorry, go on. Also, I think they'd be a really bad listener, and this could work to your advantage. So I'm going to put this in tough. Next up, we have Odessa Cubbage. Now, everything about this guy's fake, as we know. He's a bitch ass, he stays in the basement, he pretends to be British, he's got a stupid name that originates from a scam email that Valve received. But he has the gift of the gab. He knows how to talk his way in and out of things. And you know what? I think his rhetorical skills could be quite strong. So I'm going to put it in tough. Next up is the Rebel Medic. These guys always seem to know when to give me health, apart from sometimes when they just will not give me health. They're at least a first aider. I don't know if their medical knowledge goes super far, but considering you can get shot in the face and they'll help you, yeah, they must have gone through med school or something, right? So that could be potentially quite tough. Next up, we have G-Man. Impossible. I know what you get up to, G-Man, when you think no one's watching. And actually, if you got in a debate with G-Man, you could at any point threaten to expose him to the world. Always something to keep in mind. That being said, he can also see into the future and stuff, so I'm not really sure how you could debate that. Next up, we have Otis. I'm saying think Half-Life 1 Barney, but dumber. I mean, that's the whole purpose of his character, is to be a sort of Homer Simpson type deal. And this actually should be a guaranteed win, as long as you steer clear of his expert topics like French cuisine, donuts, and baseball caps. Next up, we have, was that you knocking? I didn't even know we still had a door. This guy's a complete muppet. Not only is he malnourished, which is just famously bad for your brain health, but he thinks they still had a door, which they don't, and he thinks it was us knocking, which it wasn't, so he's doubly wrong. What a loser. This guy goes in guaranteed win for sure. Next we have Male 07. This guy is clearly some sort of genius. He's got a number of parts and a number of influential works. He's got fans all over the globe. This guy's built an empire for himself. This guy is sharp. I would not mess with him, and for that reason, he's going in hard. Next up, we have Gordon Freeman, and I know what you're thinking. Gordon Freeman doesn't speak. Well, yes, he does. I swear no one reads anymore. Gordon H. Freeman is on record as someone who can talk. Now, whether he does is another story entirely, but he's a really smart guy, and well, he's played by the player, so would you be debating yourself? There are just too many question marks around Gordon Freeman, and frankly, I would be afraid that a debate might spoil our friendship, so yeah, it's going in impossible. Next up, we've got Alex. Alex is really clever, but sometimes she can be a little bit naive. But often in the game, she's like the only person who can see through bullshit. For example, the Mossman situation. Do I think I could beat her in a debate, though? I don't know. This one's going to be a difficult one to even decide on. I think I'd have to put it in tough. No, hard. She's very switched on. Eli Vance. A lot of people underestimate Eli's intelligence just because he's old and wants you to have sex with Alex. I say, what's wrong with either of those things? Having worked at Black Mesa, he's a very clever guy, and together he and Kleiner have done all sorts of crazy things with teleportation that really makes the events of Half-Life 2 possible. I would have to put him about the same as Kleiner. I think Kleiner might be more rhetorically gifted, but if you pay attention, Eli's concerns throughout the series are sometimes the most grounded out of any of the characters. I mean, Kleiner's often aware of things, but it seems like he's so wrapped up in his work that he can't really stop and think about them. Alex is always like, oh, let's go do this really dangerous thing. And Eli is like the only guy with a sort of grounded take on everything. He's like, maybe don't break into the giant Combine gulag. I mean, he turns out to be wrong in the end, but I can see where he's coming from. Also, he knows about our mutual friend. Next up, we have Mossman. I think the game seems to imply that she's not quite the same tier of scientist as like Kleiner or Eli, but she gets quite a lot done, and she can double-cross all of those characters, and then double-cross the frickin' supreme leader of Earth. And I mean, yes, it relies on her being a bit of a dick, but she couldn't do that if she was brain dead. I'd guess that, just like the other scientists in the series, she's probably significantly smarter than me, so I'm not touching that. She's going in hard. Next up, we have Dr. Rosenberg, another exceptional scientist, the guy who created the anti-mass spectrometer. That's, for the uninitiated, that's the thing that goes... And despite the fact that he is definitely mechanically challenged, his brain is more than able to keep up with the various challenges, and he's one of the scientists that actually gets his ass out of there in his own sort of way. Dr. Rosenberg is going in hard. Next up, Drill Instructor Barnes. I would absolutely not fuck with Drill Instructor Barnes, impossible. HECU Marines, and this is assuming you come across like an unarmed one, maybe in a bar somewhere for whatever reason. These guys cannot even spell your or Freeman, so I don't fancy their chances in a debate versus Lenify TV. Easy win, guaranteed even. Next up, we have the Nihilith. I mean, this guy has a huge brain. I mean, this guy has a huge head, but not necessarily a huge brain. A lot of that is indeed empty space. He has only a few words to say, but they do seem very aware of what's happening. But I think his handling of the Resonance Cascade drama was just cringe, and we don't know enough about him. But we could assume that he has some kind of eldritch knowledge. That would probably put him in impossible. Just because we killed him in the first game doesn't mean he's dumb. If you guys have watched Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, you'll understand that sentiment. Next up, we have Sandy, the guy who says, like, don't get in the sand, etc. This guy failed to protect his friend, failed to complete his mission, and otherwise just seems quite average. So I'm going to put him on easy. Next up, we have Laszlo. Laszlo is the finest mind of his generation. Impossible. Poked out Barney from an early version of Half-Life 1. I feel like this would be a guaranteed win. I mean, this guy is absolutely gone. Next up, we have Dr. Kuma. Dr. Kuma is an otherworldly being, I imagine with power quite similar to G-Man's. I am not touching that with a 10-foot debate pole. He is going in impossible. Next up, we have Gabe Newell, the canonical god of the Half-Life universe. He's too powerful, it's impossible. HECU medic. Not quite as good as the Half-Life 2 medics, I think, but must be pretty smart. I mean, he has glasses after all, which means something. So this guy goes in tough. The fisherman from Half-Life 2 Lost Coast is completely unremarkable. He has a stupid hat. This would be easy. Alex's mom, Asian Vance. No, that's probably supposed to be like ASEAN or something. I've never seen that name before. It's quite nice. We don't know much about her, but I'm sure I've heard something in Half-Life 2 that leads me to think she was quite an intelligent woman. However, she is dead forever, and we cannot debate her for that reason. Boo-hoo. Here's the Manhat guy. I forgot his name. I'm really bad with names. He survived under here for a decent amount of time, so he must be kind of smart, but he fails to realize that the Combine is looking for the guy right in front of him with the fluorescent orange suit. So he actually might be quite dumb. I'll put this in easy. Combine Elite. If we can assume that the Combine Elite is an even more robotic version of the Combine Soldier, then this would be easy as hell. But at the same time, there would kind of be no debate. And it's hard to tell because at the end you can see them communicating with Breen and even following his informal orders on the ground. So maybe there is a part of the Combine that is a bit more human, a bit more sapient. But in order to see that side, you have to be someone important like Breen. Or maybe it's even a mode that they can toggle on a computer. Human mode, combat mode. I don't know, man, just spitballing. This guy goes and guaranteed win. If I could convince this guy that I was important enough, I think it would be simple. I could just instruct him to concede. Next up, Greggs and Sheckley. I know this is only one of them, but only one of these pictures is actually here. These guys are stupid as hell. They fully rely on Gordon, and I love them as characters, but I think a debate would be quite easy between both of them. They would trip themselves up and each other up constantly. I think that's easy. Dr. Magnuson, absolutely no shot do I beat Dr. Magnuson in a debate. Not only is he clearly really smart, and his work alone is what allows us to launch that rocket at the end of episode 2, but he's also got a very sharp wit, and he's a bit of an asshole. I think a debate against him would be more like a bullying session, and I'm absolutely not interested in that, so I'm putting it in impossible. Barney, Half-Life 2. Barney's clearly a much smarter guy in Half-Life 2 than in Half-Life 1. He takes on more responsibilities, he can go undercover. He's a bit of a snarker, which means he's got some wit behind him. And though sometimes he is stupid as hell, I can't pretend I think he would be dumb. So I'm putting that in tough. Next we have Uria, or the lab coat Vought. Not only is this guy a Vought, which means he has access to petabytes of information on the cloud, but he wears a lab coat which gives him at least 10 more science points. And I just would never in the world want to debate such a wise life form. This guy is going to hard. And last, but definitely least, we have Mitchell Shepard. I'm not spending a single fucking second on this guy. Impossible, because I wouldn't show up. Anyway, thank you for watching this wonderful April Fool's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a great April. I'm going to bed.